Hello, Staff Sergeant Duncan here, recruiter with the Nevada Army National Guard. If you're watching this video, that means you have already gone through most of the enlistment process, meaning you've done your application, you've sat down with your recruiter, and you are getting ready to go to the remote processing station in Las Vegas, or otherwise known as MEPS. Again, my name is Paul Duncan. I am most likely your recruiter, but if you're another person watching this video and you're working with another recruiter, just keep in mind that the steps that I make in this video might be slightly different than the recruiter that you're working with. So just keep that in mind. All right, before we get started, if you are one of my recruits, I want you to make sure that you are subscribed to this channel, and I want you to hit the like button. If you're already subscribed, you don't have to worry about that, but make sure that you hit the like button and then make a comment in the comment section, including your name, so I know that you watched this channel. If you don't already have a YouTube account, it's really easy to make a YouTube account. You just create a Gmail account and it's free. You can go ahead and do that, but make sure that you make a comment with your name so I know that you watched this video. And moving on. So let's talk about what you need to bring. First of all, guys, it's really, really important that you pay close attention to this video and you fully understand everything that you need, because if there's something that you're missing, you're not going to be able to do your processing. If you're missing the wrong things, you won't be able to do your processing. So here's what you need to bring. First of all, a small overnight bag, i.e. one of those small drawstring bags. It's got to fit in a very, very small locker, so you don't need to bring that much. Basically, all you need is stuff to get you through the overnight stay at the hotel. You can bring travel-sized hygiene items, but most likely you're not really going to need them because you're staying in a hotel. But anything that you need, just make sure that it's very small. When I say clean, normal underwear, for guys, that means boxers or boxer briefs. Females and males, no thongs. Also, don't wear sports bras, because some sports bras, they cannot look at the alignment of your back based on how thick the strap is in the back. So just wear normal, conservative underwear, okay? And make sure it's clean. Also, make sure you have your enlistment packet from your recruiter with all the documents. So if you are my recruit, Staff Sergeant Duncan's recruit, most likely I have your enlistment packet with me. But if I don't, make sure that you have your folder that I gave you with all the documents inside of that folder. If you're missing any of these documents, you're not going to be able to finish your processing on processing day. So that means your state ID or your driver's license, you should have that on you at all times, and your original Social Security card and your original birth certificate. If you have eyeglasses or contacts, you need to have those with you. If you have contacts, you also need to bring the cleaning case. So that way, not the cleaning case, the case that holds your contacts. That way you can put them away, because they're going to need to test you with your contacts in and with your contacts out. I want you to wear presentable clothing. So when I say presentable clothing, it doesn't have to be formal, but basically what that means is you have to look like you want to be there. So my suggestion for guys typically is pants, like jeans. Nice jeans are okay. Just make sure there's no holes or anything along those lines. And make sure that you're wearing like a button-up shirt or a polo shirt or something along those lines. Even a nice t-shirt is okay, but just look like you care about being there for both days. For females, just make sure that your shirt has sleeves, no dresses or anything like that. Just wear nice pants. No open-toed shoes. Make sure that you are wearing closed-toed shoes, and just make sure they look nice. If we're still going through this COVID stuff, which at the time of this video we are, you're going to need a mask on you. You're going to be screened for COVID. You're going to have your temperatures checked again. Make sure you just have your mask with you. And then last but not least, it's very, very, very important you go into this with a good attitude. It's going to be a very, very long day, and it's important that you act like you want to be there, because the people at MEPS have a way of finding a reason to disqualify you. And if you go in there with a bad attitude, the first thing that's going to happen is you're going to have a target on your back, and you're probably going to find yourself getting disqualified for something. All right, let's move on. Things to know before we check in. I covered a couple of these things already. All piercings need to be removed. You cannot have any piercings inside the military facility. You can't wear hats, females and males. You can't wear nail polish, fake nails, and you can't have any jewelry on at all. So take all of that off before you come and meet with me at my office. This is a big one, hygiene and clean ears, okay? Hygiene is basic, just make sure that you're clean. For hygiene, make sure that you're clean. For ears, it's very important that you come with clean ears. So what I would do is go to like a Walgreens or a CVS and ask the pharmacist for the best way to clean out your ears. I don't want you using your just a Q-tip and trying to get the earwax out of your ears. Because a lot of times what Q-tips will do is it will pack that leftover earwax back onto your eardrum. And if our doctors can't see your eardrum, it's going to be an issue and you might have to get sent out on a consult, and that might delay your processing. The last thing we want is for you to get disqualified just because you have dirty ears. So go spend the $10 at Walgreens or whatever. Ask the pharmacist what the best way to thoroughly clean your ears is, and buy that. You'll thank me later for not getting disqualified for clean ears. Again, you have to have clean underwear. You have to wear socks. Don't be there barefoot. Make sure you wear socks with normal shoes on. Don't bring any major valuables. You can have your phone with you. You're going to lock it up in a locker, but don't bring anything like laptops and stuff like that. There's not going to be enough room to hold on to that. And then last but not least, I just want you to act professional while you're there. We'll talk more about that at the MEPS brief that you're going to go through. Okay, here's just a couple addresses that you need to know. This is the updated address. The host hotel that you're going to be staying at is the Hampton Inn. Then you're going to move over to the remote processing station, which is where you're going to do your medical. And then the last place you're going to go is the Las Vegas Readiness Center. But the first place you're going to go to is my office. So what I want you to do is just screenshot this page so you have these addresses written down or saved in your phone. Just make sure you have these addresses. We'll go over it again at the MEPS brief, but I want you to have these addresses now. All right, moving on. Okay, so the day before processing, we are going to do what's called a MEPS brief. Now, again, all recruiters do this a little bit differently. This is the way I do it. At 1 p.m., we are going to meet at my recruiting office on Horizon Ridge, okay? So just confirm with me that that's where the office is going to be, but if that's where you met me for our initial appointment, that's where you're going to meet me for the MEPS brief. So that MEPS brief is going to take about an hour, and then you're going to transport to the host hotel. Now, if you drive, you're going to drive yourself to the host hotel, and one of our representatives are going to check you in, maybe me, maybe somebody else. If you drive, you can drive yourself to the hotel, and then if you drive, you can also drive yourself to the remote processing station. If you don't drive, you're going to take a shuttle to the remote processing station. We'll go back to that in a second. But once you get to the hotel, you're going to do a hotel check-in and you're going to do a COVID screening. So you're going to have 2 forms with you that you need for your COVID screening. And then you're going to go through your COVID screening and then you're going to check into your hotel room. That evening, you're going to have a mandatory briefing. I don't know what time that's going to be. They change it, but it's important that you attend that briefing. Throughout the day, I want you to make sure that you're drinking plenty of water. You need to be hydrated for your physical the next day. Moving on, processing day. Wake up time can change, but this is the approximate time that you're going to be waking up. So wake up is at 4:30 a.m. So I want you to set multiple alarms. That means your cell phone alarm, the wake up call alarm at the hotel, and then even the alarm clock at the hotel. Whatever you do, do not be late going downstairs for breakfast in the morning. If you miss breakfast, there's a high probability that you're not going to be able to process that day. So when you leave for breakfast in the morning, you're going to have all of your belongings with you. You're not going back to the hotel room. You're going to go downstairs. You're going to eat breakfast. You're going to take accountability. At that time, if you're my recruit, I want you to text me to let me know that you're awake and that you are on your way to the Las Vegas, the remote processing station. Now, if you drove to the hotel, you're going to follow the shuttle over to the remote processing station. If you did not drive to the hotel, you're going to take a shuttle to the remote processing station. Then you're going to check in. Once you get there, that should be around, I believe check-in time is 6 a.m. now. That also changes. It's between 6 and 6:30, so just confirm with me during the MEPS brief what time that is. But as long as you're following the shuttle, you should be good to go. Okay, when you check in the morning, you're going to go through a metal detector, make sure you don't have any weapons on you, nothing like that. You're going to do your fingerprints, and you're going to get a name tag to check in and out of each station throughout the day. Once you've done all that, you're going to sit in an orientation where you fill out your 2807-1. So the form that you filled out with me already is called the 2807-2. It's very important that the answers on your 2807-1 are in alignment with the answers that you gave me on your 2807-2. If they're not the same, that's called a pre-screen error, and it could dramatically delay your processing or even disqualify you. So if you've had anything new medically come up different from what the paperwork shows when we did your application, it's very important that you talk to your recruiter, me, about that before you go to MEPS, okay? After you filled out all that paperwork, they're going to go over the rules for the day with you, tell you everything that's going to happen. They're going to talk to you about all the different things that are going to happen, all the different stations, all that stuff. So some of the things that you're going to do, you're going to do a breathalyzer first thing in the morning. The breathalyzer is testing you for alcohol, so it's very important you don't go out and drink alcohol the night before your test. You will not process if you have alcohol in your breath. You're going to do blood pressure and testing, so it's very important that you don't drink a lot of caffeine or any caffeine 24 hours before the test. You're already going to be nervous. We don't need your blood pressure being higher. You're going to take a urinalysis. So if you think that there's any possibility that you might fail a drug test, it's very important that you tell your recruiter at that time. If you fail a drug test, you are still going to enlist, and we're going to find out that you failed the drug test a week later, and then you're going to be discharged, and there's not going to be anything that we can do to help you. So make sure that if you think you might fail a drug test for any reason, you talk to your recruiter. You're going to go through hearing, vision, and then you're going to review all your paperwork, and you're going to do a final interview with the doctor. Again, if any answers change from what you told your recruiter to the time that you talk to the doctor, if any of those answers change, there's a very good chance that you could be disqualified or your processing could be very much delayed. Okay? So if any answers are changed, make sure you talk to your recruiter before you talk to the doctors at MEPS. If anything changes, just be forewarned that you're possibly going to be disqualified. If nothing changes, you're going to have a very easy time at MEPS. Okay? Okay, once you're done with everything, you are going to be released from the Las Vegas Readiness Center, and you're going to transport to the Las Vegas. Sorry, I think I just said the wrong thing. Once you get done, you're going to be released from the remote processing station, and you're going to transport to the Las Vegas Readiness Center. That's where you're going to do your final paperwork to enlist. If you drove, you can drive right to the Las Vegas Readiness Center, and the address is 4500 West Silverado Ranch, which is on the previous slide. I'll also go over that with you at your MEPS brief. Immediately when you finish, I need you to contact your recruiter and let him know, or her know, or me know that you are done. I'm going to meet you at the Las Vegas Readiness Center to finish up your paperwork. Once you're to the Las Vegas Readiness Center, again, contact me when you arrive, or contact your recruiter when you arrive to make sure that we know that you know where to go when you get into the building. Once you get there, you're going to sit down with one of our guidance counselors, and you're going to review your enlistment documents, and you're going to go over your contract. They're going to explain everything that you need to know about your contract. Once you have understood all of the conditions that go with your contract, which we should have already talked about at this point, you're going to sign all your documents, and then you're going to take a very quick oath of enlistment, and then you are going to be done, and then you're going to be ready to start getting ready for your first paid drill. Okay, a couple reminders. Save all your documents. Review all your documents before you sign. It's going to go really, really fast once you get to the Las Vegas Readiness Center, but you should have pretty much no questions because you and your recruiter should have gone over everything before this point. Like I said, if anything has changed since you've completed your application, it's very, very, very important that you tell your recruiter before processing at the remote processing station. If your recruiter doesn't change it on your application, but you decide to change it when you go to the remote processing station or MEPS, chances are you're going to get disqualified because that's called a pre-screen error. And then last but not least, guys, this is a job interview. I want you to treat it as if this is a job interview. I know that there's going to be people from all branches processing, and not all of them are going to be acting professional like you should be, but for you, you represent the Nevada Army National Guard at this point. This is a job interview. Make sure that you act like this is something that you really want to do. If this is not something that you want to do, it's important that you tell me. Move on. All right, guys, any questions? I know that was a lot in a short amount of time, and I know I sound like I'm being very stern with all this, but it's very, very important that you understand what you're about to go through. Now, don't worry if you don't fully understand any of this. At your MEPS brief the day before the RPS, I will go over every single thing with you. This is just important that you have a good understanding of what you need to bring and all that good stuff. If you don't already follow me, you can follow me at Army Guard Nevada. Also, you can follow my personal Instagram at Paul Duncan Jr. if you're not doing that already. Again, if you haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel, please do that. And I think that's it, guys. Any questions, feel free to contact me, especially if you're my recruit. If you're not my recruit and you have questions, and maybe you're watching this video going through MEPS through a different city, it's going to be a little bit different in every city that you go to. It's going to be a little bit different with every branch that you go into. So if you have general questions, you can feel free to put them in the comments. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you soon.